Hello people, this is video number 5. What does FEMA know? Those who don't know what FEMA stands for, it means the Federal Emergency Management Association or agency. I like to say association because the left arm don't know what the right arm is doing, and they're taking their orders from the head. The head is known as the United Nations. Rex 84. I'm going to talk just briefly about it, but in the next video I'll show you some things with the Rex 84. Rex 84 is a mandate that was signed by Bill Clinton in 1995, making the United States a charter member of the Rex 84. And what it means is that if there is a complete financial meltdown or civil unrest, we are attacked by a foreign nation, or we're just attacked, period, or a natural disaster, the United Nations has the right to bring in foreign troops to govern the United States people. The Constitution of the United States will be suspended at that time, and who's ever the sitting president will become the sitting dictator, taking orders from the United Nations, who gets most of their funding from Catholic-ran governments, from Vatican City. That's all I'm going to say on it right at the moment, but I'll show it to you. But in 2009, when Barack Obama became the president, he was the Antichrist, but we'll save that for a later date. Most of you have asked me that, and I've answered it. Yes, he was the Antichrist, the prophesized Antichrist. He ordered $1 billion of disposable caskets. Many of the FEMA camps were already being built by Senior Bush, and Bill Clinton was adding more money, and the other Bush was adding more money. Obama made sure they were all completed, and they are. There's 647 in this nation and a total of 8 in Canada with American taxpayers. But I'm sure Canadian taxes went in to help build some of them also. Some of these FEMA camps have crematoriums. But $1 billion for coffins? Current report. These are the coffin liners. It'll hold up to 5 bodies. Depends on how you stack them. Along with that order went $14 million allocated for 200 million body bags. 200 million body bags. In that was another $140 million for the processing of what they call MREs. And military people know that means it's meals ready to eat. When I was in service, we knew them as sea rats. So, and trust me, they were rats. But we lived off of them. They kept you sustainable. But they were doing this for the preparation of a natural disaster. Doesn't say a civil unrest or whatever, but a natural disaster. There's the Rex 84. They mention it in this document. I'll tell you about that as we go along. Concentration camps in case of the event of martial law. Here's another thing. Alex Jones on InfoWars talked about this a couple times last year. He may even still be talking about it. I don't know. But there's some more of them guys. This picture was taken down in Macon, Georgia, where they have a storage facility there. Estimated 1 million caskets are sitting there. These are plastic liners, by the way. It's just amazing. But this was all passed under a health bill done by the Democrats through an executive order. It never went through Congress for approval. It was done by the stroke of a pen by Obama. Financial report. I could probably go to jail for this because somebody who is my extra set of eyes and ears got this for me. I want you to look at that. That's money that was spent. This is a draft of spends for FEMA and DHS, the Department of Homeland Security. They did an audit on them. As soon as Donald Trump got in there, they did an audit for FEMA, Department of Homeland Security. Nothing has came out yet because the Democrats want to keep this Russian probe rolling along, so, well, the true crimes are not exposed. The treason crimes are not exposed. The theft of U.S. dollars is not exposed. What the Clintons were doing is not exposed. So as long as we keep this in the forefront, what is really going on, we're not going to talk about. The man that's in charge of, he's acting associate administrator, and I think he's been replaced now. But his name, this was in March 8th of 2016. Roy E. Wright, if you can see that. The Congress was asking at the time, please send your OIG, that's the Office of Inspector General, audits to be sent to Congress so they could see this. They still have not got it. The oversight draft reform was a format to show their spending for the last 15 years. It hasn't happened, and I doubt it will happen. But this is something I got. The American public is not privy to it. Well, this is a 2012 report, by the way. See that? This is the set-in for the events of earthquakes, civil unrest, tidal waves, volcanic ash. And this was done by the Washington State Hazard Identification and Vulnerability Assessment. There it is right there. They did this report for FEMA. Now, I want to read you a few things here. This is for people who don't live in the United States and for those who do live in the United States to know that your elected officials really care about you. Really? Really? We have to make sure the development strategy are cost effective, consistent with sound environmental practices and movement of certain funds, who's going to move them, where they're going to move them to, and who's going to take charge of them. To meet political considerations, tactical directions that will be established to determine the tactics needed to implement the selected strategies in a mass casualty event. Typically will be used to accomplish within the operational periods described, to be looked upon as the assigned resources in the selected congressional regions. Congressional elected officials shall take charge of this. So let's just say you live in northern New York, but he's not a congressional representative down in southern New York or Rhode Island, wherever the congressional districts are. But he's got to say so of where this stuff will go. Well, I'm going to send it to my elected, my constituents that put me in office to start with. I'm going to save them. The rest of you down in the South, God, I wish I could do something for you, but my bunker only holds so many. That's a true statement. Bunkers. And we will get into that in the next video. I'll show you where your money's going. Establish, assign resources. Determine and assign the kind and type of resources that will be appropriate to the selected districts by congressional officials. Resource assignments will consist of any kind, type, or number of resources that will be needed by directive of Department of Homeland Security by guidance of the Tactical Operations Units of the United Nations. Remember Rex 84. Monitoring performances. Field tactics and performance and monitor will be determined by military and local conjunction who are in charge of the resources at the various strategies at the various staging areas for both valid and adequate distribution under the control of the Department of Homeland Security. I have them all marked right there. Resource tracking. Supervisors must record resource status in assigned areas and report directly to your Federal Emergency Management Agency supervisor. This will include incident management resources for EMS agencies and let's see here, unity of command, the span of control, and source of tracking methods. The Incident Command Post, it's known as the ICP, will be in charge of all staging areas. The medical director of each branch will consist of a medical supply coordinator, a medical branch established command, and control all activities and distribution of medical supplies to be also run and implemented with the coroner under guidelines of a multi-patient during a multi-casualty incident. And this says maintain ICA Form 214. I could never find what Form 214 is. Isolated morgues and minor treatment areas must be away from the immediate and delayed treatment areas of the mass incident. Recommended additional personnel resources sufficient to handle the magnitude of the incident. Direct and or supervise on-scene personnel from agencies such as the medical examiner offices to identify deceased bodies. The Red Cross will be controlled and law enforcement will be controlled. Private ambulance companies will be controlled. County health agencies will be controlled. Hospital volunteers will be controlled and maintained by ICA Form 214. I cannot find ICS Form 214. I wonder why. Well, we don't know. It's something that is hidden that they don't want the public to see. But we do see right here, treatment group supervisors will follow directive of the ICP or ICS treatment areas and control and report directly to Department of Homeland Security under the guidelines of Rex 84. There you go, people. It's right there. And again, a lot of this is in the public's eye. Now, if FEMA is preparing for something of this event, as I've been sharing with you, of Yellowstone, yet, do you remember the hurricane that went through Puerto Rico? They still haven't got that cleaned up. They still have not put power back in most places over there. I know what the news says, but the power has failed. There's a little article right there that came out just a few days ago, well, a few weeks ago. I think it was in the 1st of July. If they cannot do something with such of a hurricane, what in the hell does it think that they will get by with something of this magnitude, like Yellowstone? I don't think they're going to be able to. I do not think they're going to be able to. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say I think. Let's just say the truth. We know. And they're going to run to their bunkers. Yes, they think they'll get away by running to their bunkers. I will tell them this. Go into your bunkers. Because you will not be coming out. You'll have one or two things happen. You will be either drowned and flooded by the tidal waves that will come in, the collapse of the tectonic plates, and the ash fallout. Signed, sealed, and delivered. It is done. It is finished. So, remember, I want to show you this map again. People, look at it close. This right here is the Rocky Mountains. Everything west is going to disappear. This here is the Appalachian Trail to the Iron Dike Mountains all the way up to northern Maine. If you're living east of this, it is going to be gone. If you live down here in the southern parts of the United States, parts of Texas, there's Cuba, all the way down into this area, which has got a lot of volcanoes going on. You're not going to make it, people. I'm sorry. I'm not a doom monger, fear and glue, you know. Mankind was warned about this, and did man listen? No. Is man listening now? No. But there's a lot out there that are. And if it wasn't for me and my brothers and sisters bringing this to you and knowing the exact time that it was supposed to come, you would not know about it either until the very last moment. And how would you know it at the very last moment? Not only would you hear that blast of the eruption at Yellowstone, you would feel it. And those who live within 750 miles to maybe 1,000, you wouldn't know what hit you. It's going to be that fast. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be violent. The smart will survive. Right, Ira? Lisa? Sherry? Judy? And I have a many list. And them ships out there are not here just to collect up space. So somebody with a telescope say, wow, I saw a UFO. It's almost like Tweety Bird, and I thought I saw a putty cat. Well, guess what? The putty cat's in the neighborhood, and he's getting ready to show his teeth. But there's something out there that's here, not for just for me and my brothers and sisters, but for you who are listening. It will happen in a twinkle of an eye also. On that, I'm going to take you to video number 6. I'm going to show you where the U.S. tax dollars are being spent and where these events and these first responders are being stationed. People, it don't get no worse than what I'm about to show you. God bless you. I'll see you on my next video. Thank you.